Hello, Chuck Lieber here again with Lieber's Home Team, representing Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate all seasons, and thanks for tuning into my video blog. The title of today's episode is Be Careful with Credit Before Closing. Buyers need to be aware of their credit spending habits even after they're approved for a mortgage. Some buyers think they can get away with credit spending after their initial mortgage approval, but it can be an awakening experience. Taking on a lot of credit debt between loan approval and closing could undo your real estate transaction. Buyers oftentimes get a pre-approval for a loan prior to searching for a home. Once the purchase agreement is accepted, the lender coordinates the effort to get final underwriting approval. Now, this process involves verifying the source of funds, checking credit ratings, checking debt, verifying employment, tax returns, etc. The approval is subject to no changes in the verified items. Once the borrowers are approved, the lender assumes the borrower's information will remain as it was through closing. What many buyers are not aware of is that the lender, just prior to closing, may attempt to verify that the financial picture of the borrower has not changed. This attempt to verify could occur any time before closing. Especially in this market, when lenders are being very cautious, they want to verify that the borrower still qualifies for the loan. If the borrowers were borderline qualifiers, they need to be especially careful because any change in credit could change their qualifying status. Even those who easily qualify have been known to make large credit purchases and ultimately lose their qualifying status. Oftentimes, at closing, the lender requires the borrower to sign a new credit application stating that nothing has changed since they originally applied for the loan. It's frustrating to see a borrower get fully approved for a loan and then go out and buy a new car. Leasing a new car or buying that coveted Beamer on credit will immediately be placed on your credit report, and your loan officer will see it. The lender will then know exactly how your change in credit impacts your ability to make the payment on a new mortgage. Excited homebuyers oftentimes decide that they need to buy a number of items for their dream home. They proceed to buy anything from expensive appliances to furniture to carpeting, thinking that some of these can be moved by the movers, or they can pick them up with the truck that they have reserved for moving. It seems convenient, but many a buyer is surprised at having spent a lot of money for the new house, only to discover their dream is shattered. Now they own appliances, carpet, and furniture, and have nowhere to put them because they no longer qualify for a loan. Or in some cases, if you have a closing scheduled to sell your existing home, you could end up homeless because you can't buy the new home. What a nightmare. This is certainly the worst scenario, but a less severe situation could require the lender to demand a higher interest rate or for the borrower to have to pay points in order to get financing. Obviously, the best scenario is to stop credit spending between mortgage application and closing. Once the closing is final, you can start spending again, but still with wise spending habits in mind. It's easy to get excited about the new home and still overspend. First-time homebuyers are particularly vulnerable to this temptation, oftentimes unfamiliar with other costs of home ownership, such as maintenance and repairs. In conclusion, as with so many other aspects of real estate transactions, this is just another example of why it's important to hire an experienced realtor and lender. Again, I'm Chuck Lieber with Lieber's Home Team, representing Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate all seasons. Thanks for taking the time to view this episode of my video blog, and tune in next time.